Alright, this is going to be my video about the Immortal Army. I'm going to get right into the scripture. Joel chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. I recommend y'all read all of that. I'm going to just kind of skip through it. Verse 2, it says a day of dark. Well, first of all, verse 1, this is happening in Zion, Jerusalem. Alright. And verse 2, it says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spreads upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There has not ever been a light, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. It says, a fire devoureth before them, behind them a flame burneth. It says, the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. But the fire that's devouring before them is the same fire that causes them to be turned into ashes, which is why over in Malachi, I think it's almost at the end of it, it says they're going to be ashes under the soles of your feet. That is in Malachi. Let me turn to it. Chapter 4, verse 3. And you shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet. So that is what the fire does, is burning up the wicked. And this flame is what's going before this army. And it's talking about locusts also, but what I'm trying to point out is that a lot of people think that this is only about locusts, like this is just going to be some locusts, cankerworm, palmer worm stuff, because they read Joel chapter 2 and they read down to verse 25. Verse 25 says, and I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, and the cankerworm, and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. But what they don't tell you is that there's more than one army. There's two different armies in the scriptures. We know that Yahuah used locusts at times to punish people, insects or whatnot. He'll use nature. He'll destroy the people with the earth. Even during Noah's time, the flood, he destroyed the people with the earth. Okay? But there's also another army that a lot of people haven't talked about. So let me go to that army. That is in Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 10 through 14, which is also what Joel was talking about. Because in Joel chapter 2, verse 11, he says, and Yahuah shall utter his voice before his army. So let's see what this army is. Let's see if this is some locust or some bugs here. Now in Ezekiel chapter 37, starting at verse 10, it says, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. An army of what? Verse 11. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Yasharal. That's who this army is. This army that I'm reading about in Ezekiel is not locust. Okay? Alright. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Yasharal. Behold, they say our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Verse 12. Therefore prophesy, because this is a prophecy of something that is supposed to happen in the future. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith Yahuah, Elohim, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Yasharal. We are going to be coming up out of our graves. So even if this don't happen in my lifetime, I'm still going to see it, because I'm going to come up out of my grave. And all of the rest of Yasharal, all of these Hebrews, all of these Negroes is going to be coming up out of their graves. Verse 13. We're still in Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 13. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. Now these people that are coming up out of these graves is what verse 10 says, an exceeding great army. Now, last I checked, an army is used to fight with. It's not going to be no happy day. It's going to be a lot of killing, a lot of dying, a lot of fighting going on. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of zombie movies have become very popular lately. If you look in the horror section, zombie this, zombie that, zombie apocalypse, rise of the zombies, the zombie returns, zombie land, World War Z, that's a zombie movie, Night of the Living Dead, Resident Evil this, Resident Evil that. I think they had like 4 of those. What does Hollywood know that y'all don't know? Let's go on. Zechariah chapter 10 verses 3 through 6. We'll go there. We'll go to Zechariah chapter 6. Let's see. Chapter 10, I'm sorry. Zechariah chapter 10. Let's see, verse 3. It says, Mine anger was kindled against the shepherds, and I punished the goats. For Yahuwah of hosts has visited his flock, the house of Yahudah, and hath made them as his goodly horse in the battle. Out of him came forth the corner, out of him the nail, out of him the battle bow, out of him every oppressor together. Verse 5. And they shall be as mighty men, which shall tread down their enemies in the mire of the streets in the battle. And they shall fight, because Yahuwah is with them, and the riders on horses shall be confounded. Verse 6. And I will strengthen the house of Yahudah, and I will save the house of Joseph, and I will bring them again to place them, for I have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them off. For I am Yahuwah, their power, and will hear them. Now, this is clearly talking about the tribe of Yahudah being given strength, because they are going to have to fight. And that's because the tribe of Yahudah, they're Negroes, and they're going to have to take their land back. And the people that are occupying the land right now does not want the Negroes over there. So how are these Negroes going to take the land back? They're going to have some type of abilities, capabilities to be able to withstand being shot, stabbed, falling upon a sword. Okay. Yeah, so when you read Joel chapter 2 verses 1 through 11, and you read that verse where it says, they shall fall upon the sword and they shall not be wounded, that is also talking about this army of the undead who came out of the graves, the tribe of Yahudah, and all of Yasharal, going back to get their land. There's not going to be no weapon to be able to stop them. And this is why you're going to find that the verse, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, is going to start becoming more popular, because that is going to be a reality in the future according to this prophecy. And you got Zechariah 14 and 14. Yeah, Zechariah chapter 14, verse 14. It says, and Yahudah, which they call Judah, but it's actually Yahudah, also shall fight at Jerusalem or Jerusalem. So now we know where this is going to take place. Okay. It says, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. So we're going to be taking everything. We're going to be taking everything. And we will not be able to be killed. We fall upon the sword, we will not be wounded. We're gonna be undead. I mean, we already died and we came back. How we gonna die a second time? You see? And it's telling you what tribe and where it's gonna happen. I don't see how nobody can mix that up. Let's go on. Let's get more scripture. Ezekiel. Chapter 25, we're going to go there. Starting at verse 12. Thus saith Yahuah, our mighty one, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Yahudah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. How did he get revenge? Well, you know Yaakov got the birthright and the blessing. Okay, Esau didn't like that. So this whole time he has been trying his best to get the birthright and the blessing back. That's why he took the land that we had, and that's why he's still oppressing us today, because he's mad and upset. Okay, because he does not have a right to the land. He don't even have the birthright no more. Okay, and it says, verse 13, therefore, thus saith Yahuah, our mighty one, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Yasharal, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahuah, our power. And this is also how we know that this is not talking about an event that already happened, because this is supposed to be us getting revenge for what they did to us. You see, they took vengeance on us first. They done it when they took over the land. They done it during the Atlantic slave trade. For over 400 years, they have been oppressing us, taking vengeance on us, because they know that we are the real chosen people. So there has to be revenge for that. It's like an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. The mighty one would not be righteous if he did not allow revenge. Even in our laws, there was laws for vengeance. Okay, that's why certain laws had to be enacted. You know, but yeah, you got to take vengeance. You can't just turn the other cheek like the New Testament teaches. It's just a trick, just to debase us and calm us down, so that we don't feel like we need to get revenge. But vengeance is natural. It's just a normal thing. You know, you kill mine, I'm gonna kill yours. You know, you slap me, I'm gonna slap you. You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. Karma, or whatever you want to call it. All right, and so we see that they're gonna fall by the sword, by the hand of my people Yasharal. So we got clear scripture right there. In Psalm 149, verse 5 through 9, we'll go there right quick. And it says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahuah be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. Verse 7. We're in Psalm 49, verse 7. To execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains, and the nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahuwah. So it is an honor to take vengeance. It is an honor to execute judgment. Okay? To execute vengeance upon the heathen. It is an honor. Okay? So now we'll go to Isaiah chapter 11. We'll go there. And we'll start with verse 11. And this is kind of how it's going to start. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea, which is the Mediterranean Sea. These are all places in the Middle East where he's going to gather the tribes of Yasharal from. Verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Yasharal, because they were scattered into all of those places that was just named in verse 11 in the Middle East. They're still there right now today. And he shall assemble the outcasts of Yasharal, and gather together the dispersed of Yahudah from the four corners of the earth. So the tribe of Yahudah is the tribe that was scattered to the four corners of the earth. There's some of the tribe of Yahudah that's in Haiti, the Dominican Republic, in the Bahamas, Jamaica, South America, Panama, Mexico, North America, London, England, France, Germany, Russia, China, Japan, India, you name it. Anywhere where there's someone that's got a wide nose and big lips and look anything like me and has woolly hair, most likely they are from the tribe of Yahudah. Okay? And that's the tribe that was scattered to the four corners of the earth. And so they're going to be gathered. But let's see why. Because we already know they're going to be fighting in Jerusalem. Okay? Verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Yahudah shall be cut off. So right then and there, all the adversaries are going to be cut off. All of the Edomites in the United States, in North America, South America, and Canada, Alaska, that's going to try to stop us. They're going to be cut off right off the bat, first thing. This is before we even get to Jerusalem. They got to be cut off. All right. It says, Ephraim shall not envy Yahudah, and Yahudah shall not vex Ephraim. Right? But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. And I gotta do some checking into that, because I think that was mistranslated. Because to me that doesn't make sense. How we're flying on the Philistines. Philistines can't fly. Toward the west, they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hands, see that? Their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. Okay. So we see, once again, we see vengeance taking place. Excuse me. And of course we got Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 27, where it talks about Lucifer. And Lucifer, by the way, for those of y'all that don't know, that is talking about the Edomite race. I know that might seem kind of, far-fetched for some of you, but Lucifer, the Edomite race is the only race that tried to do what is described in verses 12 through 14. It says, verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars. It says, I will sit also on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And the only race of people that tried to do that is the Edomite race. They're trying to get the entire world to believe that there's a white guy named Jesus that is the Son of God. Excuse me. Wow. But yeah, they're really pushing that all over. They're doing crusades and going all off in other countries and promoting this lie. But yeah, they're the ones trying to be like the Most High. They even have a place in the stars in the heavens where they live called a space station, space observatory, whatever you want to call it. All right. It says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man?" You see that? Man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms. And of course, they done that with the devices that they use to make earthquakes. Verse 17, "That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners." And of course, all the prisons are owned by Edomites. And they destroyed cities, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, with atomic bomb, nuclear bomb. Okay, and they're going to do it again. Excuse me. In verse 19, "But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through the sword." See? "That go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under foot. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renewed." And even back in what was that, France? I can't remember what that was. It was during the early life of Napoleon, when it was actually beheading their own people. Okay, guillotine was in full force. But yeah, verse 21 says, "Prepare slaughter for his children." And we know Lucifer don't have no children, if this was a mythological creature. So we see here that whoever this is, apparently it's Edomites, because they own the prison houses. They own the military, the police force. Okay. But it says, "Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers," because of what their fathers done. So see, the Edomites that are going to be living during the time of this day of vengeance, which that's actually what it is. It's the day of vengeance. They're going to have to suffer for what their forefathers did, because their forefathers are dead and gone. The slave masters are dead and gone. These people are living off of the benefits of slavery right now, and they're going to have to pay for it, because we had to pay for what our forefathers did. Every Negro is suffering right now through the curses that are in Deuteronomy chapter 28 because of what their forefathers did, even though they wasn't even born. You see, had I been born and given a chance to obey Yahuwah, I would have obeyed him. I really believe I would have. But I didn't get that chance. I was born in a time where our forefathers already disobeyed Yahuwah and broke the covenant, was already put out of the land, put on slave ships, brought all over the place, including America. And I'm a descendant of the family of people that was enslaved because they broke the covenant. So I'm currently suffering the curses right now because of what my forefathers did, even though I had nothing to do with it. And see, here's what's sad. There's a lot of Edomites out there that think that they're not going to have to suffer. They think that they're going to be forgiven and like it's going to be all smooth and dandy, even though their forefathers enslaved our people. And all you got to do is read Malachi. I mean, I try to find some kind of way to try to dismiss it like it's not going to happen, but yeah, I think it's going to happen. Because even in Malachi, let me turn there, Malachi chapter 1 verse 4 talks about Edom. Edom say we're impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. He said, they shall build, but I will throw down. And that's what they did. They went into the Holy Land and built the desolate places. Okay? They built the desolate places, built everything back up, but Yahuwah is going to come and tear it down. And it says, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahuwah had indignation forever. So he's going to have indignation against these people, these Edomites, forever. And the day of vengeance is coming. And there ain't going to be no stopping. So the immortal army is not just locust and the cankerworm. Okay, it is also an army of Hebrews of Yasharal, a Negro army, the tribe of Yahudah. Okay, that's what that is. So when you read books like Joel chapter 2 verses 1 through 11, it's not just talking about locusts, it's also talking about us.